Welcome to the Sunday Catch-Up, friends. A very warm welcome. I hope you're having a good day, whatever you're up to. My name is Adam Holmes. I'm a songwriter, a singer, I'm a producer, I'm a coach. I'm based in Edinburgh, in Scotland. Over the last 13 years, I've created 8 albums for myself, dozens of albums for other people. I've built 500,000 followers on my social media platforms. I've done thousands of concerts. My music has featured in the likes of Hallmark movies, Outlander, on the BBC. And I'm telling you this not to impress you, but just to earn a little bit of your trust that you think this short episode might be of some use to you. This week, I have been hanging out in Edinburgh making a record for my new friend who's a wonderful, wonderful folk singer from Ireland called Tommy Fleming. We're working on a whole album together, and I'm doing a lot of work on that, producing it. It is really sounding amazing. I'm really excited about it. It's been a lot of fun to pull all the elements together and just serve his vision for the record. He has a vision of creating an album which feels like, for him, coming back home. And he's done a lot of bigger gigs, but he's wanting to make this record really simple, really folky, and we're having a lot of fun making that record. It's been brilliant. So he's coming over today. We're going to write a song, and we're going to work on his record, and that's what I'm up to this week. And I want to speak to you guys today about a topic which I hear a lot about, and the topic is burnout. It's something that I think many of us struggle with. And for me, as someone who runs 2 businesses, I've got a little 7-year-old, and I know many of you guys are the same. You've got kids and you're running your businesses and working your jobs and dealing with family, dealing with friends. It's a lot, right? Adult life is a lot, and managing it well can be a lot. This said, I think there's a lot of misunderstandings around what burnout actually is, and I thought it could be cool to dip into it and give you a few nuggets that you can use to make your life actively better straight away. And they might be kind of surprising to you, because the way I tend to think about burnout is just a little bit different to how you might have heard about it. A lot of people, I think, might give you the advice of, just rest, chill, take time off, you're doing too much. I don't actually think that's what causes burnout, and I want to get into it. And there's a few tips at the end. I always share some questions at the end, and I think they could really, really help you. So definitely stick about till the end of the video. Also, you guys, if you don't know, I have a club. There's 650 members inside of my club, and there's tons of creative confidence content. There's hours and hours of stuff in there, and we have a community. We have a WhatsApp. So if you like the kind of content that you see here, then defo come and join us. Click the link in the top comment. Okay, so burnout. What is burnout, right? I want to define burnout personally as an indulgent emotional state, right? Because you can always choose how to react to your feelings when they arise. You can't choose the feelings that arise. It's my view, as someone who's done extensive amounts of therapy, right? I've done 13, 14 years of therapy consistently. And I think one of the biggest things that I've learned from therapy has not been how to change necessarily the way that I feel, but how to accept the way I feel. And once you accept the way that you feel, you can actually work with it. And burnout for a lot of people is actually more to do with attitude than it is to do with what you're actually experiencing. I believe burnout is a deep belief and conviction that you're low on energy. I'm going to say that again. I believe burnout is a deep belief and conviction you're low on energy. I believe as well, burnout is a fixation on an arrival. It's the belief that you're going to arrive somewhere else and everything's going to be perfect. I'm crazy about watches, right? I like a nice watch. Okay, it's my one of my, not vices, but I guess just an interest outside of music, because pretty much most of all the stuff I'm interested in is based around like music or business or filmmaking or social media. It's all kind of connected to work. That said, watches for me are the one place where outside of those interests where I can get real obsessive, right? This week, I just got so obsessed about this watch that I started to feel I was like, I have to get this watch. And I just felt, I felt so burnt out. I felt completely burnt out. And it was dead interesting. What I realized was, for me, that burnout was actually coming from believing that if I got that watch, I would be happier. And when I paused, I thought for a moment, hold on, really? I'm gonna drain all the color out the rest of my life by believing that I'm gonna be happier if I have a watch? That's crazy. I have nice warm jumpers to wear. I have clean drinking water. I have a house to live in. I have working legs, working lungs. I have my health. I can walk around. So that's almost like quite a silly example, but I think it's what a lot of us do in other areas as well. I think we reckon when we get to that holiday, when we get to that pay rise, when we get to that moment in our romantic life or whatever, that's when it's going to be okay to be here. That's when it's going to be good to be alive. And I'm here today to offer the perspective as an imperfect human that does this too, that I think burnout is it comes from this distance that we put between where we are and where we think we should be. And I think it's great to have goals, but I think if your goals are not energizing you and your desires are not energizing you, then maybe there's a better way that you can do it. So causes of burnout, I think a lack of appreciation, self and external, right? As I mentioned before, the lack of appreciation comes when you're unable to appreciate the things that you built. And just think about, I remember how much I wanted to just live in a nice house near the meadows, right? But what you'll notice is we keep moving the goalposts. We keep changing. We keep going on. Now it's this, now it's that. And we keep putting it somewhere other than where we are. So the way to bring that appreciation back is to appreciate the things that you worked so hard in your life to create that you now have. Think about the last 10 years. How much stuff have you created that you wished so deeply that you could have, and you promised yourself you'd be happy there? Think about that, and it can be a way to bring that back to the present moment. Another huge cause of burnout, blame. And I noticed this in myself. I grew up in a very chaotic environment, and my pattern throughout my 20s, and this therapy tremendously helped me with this, was to blame my upbringing, right? If I was having a real tough day or I didn't feel good or I was struggling, and listen, I've got every reason in the book that I could do that. But what I learned for myself was it just didn't get me anything. It got me a little bit of self-pity and a little bit of, an excuse, I guess. But it didn't actually get me the things I wanted to really have in my life, like being in better shape, having more money, having better relationships, being a more resilient person. It didn't get me, blaming didn't get me any of those things. And I think whilst there's a positive side of people being more conscious of mental health and being more open to healing, I think the negative side of that on social media is a lot of blame. I see a lot of blame on there. I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but it just really feels like that has become very prevalent in our society in this day and age. And I think without a therapeutic practice, blame is just more darkness, more negativity. Another huge cause of burnout is numbing foods. If you're eating sugar and bread and processed food and you're burnt out, it's like, go and sort that out and then come back and see how you feel. And listen, I'm not saying your burnout is not real or your life is not demanding. But honestly, when I just eat like meat, fish, veg, some eggs, stuff like that, and nothing else, man, I feel like I live in a different body. I really do. And it's crazy to me that we use medicine as food rather than food as medicine. So if you're just eating numbing terrible foods all the time, that will burn you out 100%. Another cause of burnout, inauthenticity. Masking is like a muscular, think about it, if you're working all day, hey, like if you're literally tensing all these muscles constantly to try and come across in a way that isn't authentic to you, it's exhausting. So just drop it. I remember sitting one day, I dropped Rosa at school and I was sitting having a coffee and my friend walked past and I just felt so good, man. I felt like so peaceful. And she was like, wow, you look really sad. I was like, fair enough. I feel great, but I get it. It's like sometimes when you're not masking, people are going to maybe have some opinions on how your face looks. But if that feels good for you, then that's what you need. So inauthenticity. Okay, another huge cause of burnout, availability. Do you know the difference between the three categories of people in your life? Some people are, hiya, that's it. Hello, that's it. That's all, okay? Like maybe some other parents at the school drop, maybe some people you see at your local cafe, maybe some people in your work, whatever. Just people in that category. All it is hello, that's it. You leave it there. It's done. That's civil. That's fine. Hiya. The second level, how are you? That's like an acquaintance. How's it going? How are you? Tell me about you. Cool. Have a great day. You know, that's level 2. Level 3, how are we? How are we? How's me and you together? How's our thing? Let's talk. Let's get into it. Man, I see people going off at traffic wardens, right? Or policemen or people in a shop. They're getting into how are we with people that it's like, do you really want to be that intimate with someone that you don't even know them? It's crazy to me. So, and listen, I'm the same. I've been there. I've done it. I'm not saying I never do it, but it's interesting to observe. Are you getting into how are we with people you don't even know? Conflict is a form of intimacy. It's worth being aware of. Information is a huge cause of burnout. Think about if you leave the house and you go into a cafe and they're playing Taylor Swift and you get on the bus and there's a newspaper and it's the Metro and it's telling you about Gaza, and you get into another shop and the radio's playing and it's advertising life insurance. It's like that it builds up, right? And I think for a lot of people during COVID, one of the benefits of the lockdowns was, for some people, was the kind of space from all of that information. You know, not for everyone. Some people are less sensitive to it. I'm a sensitive guy. I'm a songwriter. If you're watching this still up till this point, you probably are too. So it's worth being aware of how much information you're taking in. So solutions to burnout. Number 1, remember this is as good as it gets, right? This moment, I've got a jumper. I've got this glass of water. I'm in a house that has heating piped in and water piped in, and my ancestors fought to create this for me. This is as good as it gets. I can change my clothes a bit. I can change my weight a bit. I can change my body composition. I can change the amount of money I have. I can change the quality of my relationships, right? And all those things are beautiful, and all those things are fun to change. But at the end of the day, can you really get better than this? This is as good as it gets. Second solution, create your own respect on your work, validation and resonance. There's a difference between validation and resonance. Validation is thinking that someone else knows better than you. Resonance is knowing that someone else feels the same as you. Know the difference. And if you just make the work good for yourself, whatever the work is, if it's a poem, if it's a book, if it's a piece of art, if it's an album, if it's your business, just make it as good as you can for you. And then the right people will come and resonate with it. It's not about getting validation. It's not about winning the opinions of people who are not into what you do. It's just about making it as good as you can for you and then finding the people that resonate. And if you try and get people to resonate who never will, you're going to burn out. That goes for family, that goes for friends, it goes for clients, anyone. If you're trying to hustle people into what you have and they don't want to be there, that's going to burn you out 1,000,000%. Rest is work, another solution. If you don't feel like resting, good, just accept it. Use your drive as a kind of factor that can help you to rest, and literally just treat it like a job. Show up, be like, I am going to do 2 hours of rest right now. And even if it feels terrible, even if my brain wants to do stuff and wants dopamine, just treat it as a job and do 2 hours. Another solution is to care for yourself in each time frame. Are your past self, future self, and present self balanced? Are you avoiding one of those selves at the expense of the other? Massive cause of burnout. If you're thinking, I'm going to take care of my future self and only my future self at the expense of my inner child in the past, at the expense of my present moment, you will burn out. If you're going to only take care of your past and you're only doing therapy and you're not working on your business, working on your health, working in the future, again, you're going to burn out. It's the dance between your inner child, yourself now, and your future self, and looking after all of them together in as balanced a way as possible. And listen, it's like the pilot that goes forward, right? He doesn't go in a straight line. The plane goes to one side and you pull it back, one side and you pull it back. Balance is a constant process, right? It's not a destination, it's a process. Refuse stressful thinking, another solution. I'm not saying pretend it isn't there. I'm just saying, if you have a feeling like you're sitting and you're revving the car and it's not going anywhere, just notice it, catch it, and just say to yourself, no, I don't do that. I don't do that. And I don't, like I say, I'm not indulging in my stressful thinking. My stressful thinking comes up. Right now I'm managing a few massive projects and being a parent and being a singer-songwriter and putting myself out online. There's just a lot going on, but when that tendency comes up for me to engage in the stressful thinking, for me it's helpful to just talk to myself and say, no thanks, I'm not going to indulge in it. It can happen, it can occur, but I'm not going to get involved with it. I'm not going to go with it. Last solution, be incredibly conscious of your language. It's incredible to me how much people will say negative things about themselves and not think it matters, but your unconscious mind knows not the difference between what you say as a joke, what you say just in the passing, and what you mean. It's all the same. So first came the word, as they said in the Bible. First came the word. Your word is your map. Your word is your bond. Be incredibly vigilant about your language. Say things which work you towards the life you want to live and move you away from the life that you would like to get away from. Let me give you an example. If I said to you, God, I'm so knackered, I'm so tired, right? What does that create? It doesn't create anything. If I say to you, I'm working on maximizing my energy levels right now, do you feel the difference, man, between those two statements? If you said to someone, I hear people say, I'm broke. It's just, it is the worst language. I've been there, man. I grew up, I'm one of 8 kids. We grew up in a 2-bed flat. I know I'm not someone that's always had, right? But you have to point in the direction that you want to move towards. I'm working on my money mindset right now. I'm working on thinking about ways I could create more abundance in my life. Do you see how it's got so much more movement in it? Focus on the solutions. Okay, 5 questions that could help you with burnout. Number 1, if I had to enjoy the process, how would I behave differently? If you're in a project, or you're parenting your kids, or you're in a relationship and you're thinking, I just need to get to there. I just need to get over there and then it's going to be great. What if you had to enjoy the process? How would you behave differently? Would you do a little bit less on the job today? Would you go for a walk? Would you tell some jokes with the people? I don't know. What is it for you? What comes up with that question? If you had to enjoy the process, how would you behave differently? Number two, am I sure I need what I think I need? My watch earlier, that was a great example. I just was like, hold on a minute, I don't need a watch. That is not gonna make me a better person. It's not gonna make me happier, really. In 3 months, it will just be a thing in my house that I have. So I'm sure that I need what I think I need. If you're like, I need to get to that holiday, are you sure? Are you sure that you're not going to just take your stressful mind there? Can you just in this moment release the muscles around your shoulders and breathe a bit more deeply and can you just appreciate where you are? And I'm not saying don't take the holiday, but I'm saying that maybe you plan a different kind of holiday or a different kind of job or goal or whatever from that space. Number 3, have I taken 60 minutes in the last week? The amount of people I know who are like, I'm burnt out. But it's like, okay, well, I need a holiday. It's like, okay, what have you taken like 10 minutes? Listen, guys, I take 15 minutes every single morning. Yes, I have a kid. Yes, I have a busy life. Bad language, an active life. I don't have a busy life. I have an active life. Busy means out of control. I have an active life. I have a lot going on, but I take 15 minutes every single morning and look out the window, listen to a nice sound, write in my journal. It's a non-negotiable for me. And the amount of energy that gives, I have no idea how people wake up, just go into the world, start information hitting them and just dealing with the demands of life without making that time. So never mind a big holiday, never mind a huge big rest, but have you taken 15 minutes without your phone to look out a window? Number 4, are my social priorities in balance? As I mentioned earlier, do you know the difference between a hiya, how are you, and how are we? Do you know the difference, guys? Because if you don't, you're probably going to get burnt out. Number 5, and this is a huge one. Am I simply feeling resistance? A lot of people think they're feeling burnout. I reckon they're just feeling resistance to the emotions that they're actually feeling. As I mentioned before, my example would be the time that I sat in a cafe after the school drop and my friend saw me and said, "You look so sad." But what was really going on for me was I was just experiencing the emotions that were present for me in that moment without judgment. The judgment around emotions is what creates the burnout. If you're thinking that you should feel happy and you should feel peaceful and you should feel calm and you should feel positive all the time, you're going to burn out, because that's ridiculous. That's like if you felt like it should just be summer all the time and it's winter and you're going, it should be summer, and people do this actually, should be summer. How are you going to feel? It's like, okay, it's cold, put a jacket on, dress for the weather, stay in, curry in, make the most of it, write some poetry, look out the window, enjoy it, enjoy each season. If you're in a season and that season is stressful, that's a part of life. Stress is a part of life. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. Even if it is containing a lot of negative emotion, you can enjoy it. You can allow it to be as it is. So I'll leave you with that. You guys have an amazing week, and I'll look forward to chatting to you guys in the next one. If you want hours and hours of content like this and loads of other great stuff, I've got a course on prosperity. It's 16 videos long. I've got a whole course on songwriting that can teach anyone how to write songs. There's multiple documentaries. There is unreleased music, exclusive music. There's so much stuff in there, and it only costs $1 to join. If you want to join, click the link in the top comment. If you're already in, you guys, big love. I hope this has been a good one for you, and have an amazing week. I'll chat to you soon.